whether to or not participate in local government elections which are coming in the year 2024? What could be the reasons or the plethora of reasons?
Okay, so as we've come to know it of late, local government elections in River State have for so long been a charade,
Okay.
a show of him for what I can see, because this is the election for the arm of government that is closest to the people. The local government is celebrated because of its proximity to the people. And to those that are politically conscious know that a election for the position of a councillor, it should be more important to the presence in those constituencies than even the election for a president.
True.
Because that is the person that is going to speak for them. That is the person that's going to highlight the issues, bedeviling them, and see to it that those issues are taken care of. But according to what should be, we think that the local government elections are hijacked by agents of the state and the ruling political party. You see a situation where the research commissioners and the chairman will be carrying members of the known political party, and they don't even bother to make it a secret. They make they make such announcements with such gallantry. So far as we know it, as the Labour Party in Rivers State, the local government elections have not been credible.
So could it be that all of these anomalies that you've mentioned happen because the people pay no attention, and like you have said earlier, that the Labour Party may not be a part of the election? Could these be some of the reasons why there is boldness in perpetrating some of the anomalies? Because when the people are not participating, the politicians would have their way.
Okay, you see, when these corrupt elements in the polity want to tout these issues of people not participating in elections, they use that to justify their electoral crimes and all that. People would participate in a process when they see it is transparent. Let's take, for instance, the 2023 general elections, right? Following the confidence and the several messages that came from it as to vote counting, the security unit, how the votes were transmitted, and there were going to be the usual malpractices and manipulations and all that, you saw that we had record turnouts in this 2023 election. But what now happened towards the end? There's serious voter apathy right now. So when there's voter apathy, something actually has led to that voter apathy. That is what should be addressed. In River State, the violence, the snatching and dragging of ballot boxes here and there, the issue of sometimes you will even go to polling unit, you will not see a result sheet. That's when they don't fake it. And then at the end of the day, you hear that the RISEC chairman is somewhere chilling, sitting cozy with the governor, writing the election results for the LGs that, so in some cases, lives have been lost. People have been chased out of their communities and all whatnot, depending on the level of violence they decide to perpetrate. So how would people have the courage to come out and face these monsters when they do not have the capacity to match the level of violence which these people bring to the table? Now, if you make the process transparent, if you make it an inclusive process where stakeholders from all political parties can attest to the fact that the process is transparent, then people would want to participate in it. They should try transparency and see if people will not participate in the election.
So now, don't you think, because now, I should say that just before the 2023 general elections, these were the narratives also that people touted when they talked about elections in Nigeria. However, we saw that the more people participated, the more it became difficult for some of these anomalies. Yes, they may have happened, and like you've said, they may have resulted in voters' apathy. But don't you think that the change, because It's no longer news that a lot of people, a lot of young people, even older people who never participated in elections decided to participate in elections when there was that movement. Don't you think this is now the time for the movement to even continue? Because I tell you that the more the people participate, it strengthens the institutions to do the right thing. Oh, don't you agree? Don't you agree with that narrative?
The Nigerian problem is hydra-headed, right?
Okay.
It's multifaceted. If I should put it that way. You see, when the agents of state, right?
Yeah.
That are supposed to be acting for the people, that are supposed to be defending the people, right? Choose sides and defend the political actors that have paid them the highest, right?
Yeah.
You see that the people are exposed unnecessarily to a very high level of risk and danger, right? Now let us assume, as it were, people came out in this 2023 election because of promises. 2023 election is not the first, it was not the first in our democratic dispensation or in this democratic dispensation, right? We had elections from 99.
Yeah.
For this particular dispensation, we witnessed a very, very high level of violence, especially in River State, from 99, 2003, 2007, down up to like 2019. So as the years went by, the voter participation kept on reducing, because with every election or every electoral season, and people come up and have the hope that these things will be different. They end up seeing that things were exactly the same or even worse. So now in 2023, with the introduction of the beavers and the IREV and all that, with technology, people's hopes were reinforced, and they expected that there will be a change, right?
Yeah.
They came out to participate in these elections. They came out to vote, thinking that these votes will count, or it will at least mean something, right? We cannot say it was not. It was a complete failure, right? Because in some places, people were able to defend those votes, right?
Yeah.
People were able to at least see through the process.
Yeah.
But now, when we now got to the judiciary, those votes that were defended, those votes that some persons even died in the process of defending, were squashed and thrown into the bin and said, and the judges, after whatever motivation that they had, now decided to twist the will of the people.
But yet again, Mr. Wellington,
you keep on seeing these complications.
Yet again, Mr. Wellington, yes, I would agree with you that there were challenges and there's still challenges. But this is, and you said, and you concord when I said, and you said that this is one of the most important elections in the country, the local government elections, and now River State will be having its own in the year 2024. Don't you yet again think, and you've also said that the 2023 election, general election, was not a failure. There were wins, there were flaws, there were gains, and like you've said, don't think we should replicate that at the local level, and if able to get some of these local governments for the people, by the people, of the people, in a democratic way, then just maybe we are a step in the right direction towards having, because we all argue that leadership is the bane of our society.
Okay. First of all, the issue of the umpire, the electoral umpire, which is RISEC in this case.
Yeah.
The partisanship of the leadership of RISEC is a problem.
Okay.
Because this is the commission that would produce the electoral material, the ballot papers and everything, right? And then you have the person that's at the helm of affairs. Like the person is one of the right? And the process of appointment of this.
But I should come in now. The person in charge is an ex-judge. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is an ex-judge. So is he partisan or is he?
Who appointed him?
It's just like INEC's chairman is appointed by the president.
Which is what we're still seeing, right? The only benefit of the a larger people and these happen simultaneously across the entire nation, right?
I would have to beg you, let's hold that thought. We have a commercial break for the next 5 minutes, so please do stay on the line.
For news and sport, stay
I've got 23 more minutes on the clock, and it will be time for the major news at 6. I still have my guest via the phone, Gogo Wellington, who is the spokesperson for Labour Party in Rivers State, and we're looking at his earlier statement about local government elections happening next year in Rivers State, and the possibility of Labour Party participating or not participating because of certain challenges that bedevil, or certain anomalies that bedevil local government elections in Rivers State. I am Kala Dakarubatwa, and it's good to have you on the other side of the radio. All right, so welcome back, Mr. Wellington. Good to have you still here.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the long wait. So, yeah, you were talking about the challenges, and I said, is this not the right time? Because usually when people try to make a difference, it's not expected that the difference will be sudden, given the long time frame the institution has had in terms of the corrupt practices in our society. And if we must get the right leadership, I agree with you and other people who think that we need to start from the local government level. And if I ask you, are you happy with your local government's development? I guess the answer will be no. Neither am I happy with my local government's development. So should we not be looking at solutions to the problem, so as to you mentioned the partisan nature of RESEC and all of that. That's an allegation, by the way, because I'm supposed to be neutral. I would not take your word for it, but you've mentioned that. The question then should be, how do we hold these people in the various institutions that are necessary for a good local government election accountable, so they don't go about doing business as usual?
Okay, every problem has its own peculiar solution, right?
Yeah.
If you have a headache, you take a paracetamol per se. If you have malaria, you take malaria drugs. So we are more interested in tackling the problem from the roots, which I believe the problem that the LGA elections, or the conduct of the LGA elections, have in River State is the refusal of the governor or the sitting governor to allow for a transparent process, which is what is constitutionally required of him or whoever it is that's on that seat. We are still in tribunal challenging the victory of the River State governor because we also have a problem with the conduct of that election here in River State. We saw clips and videos of how materials were being hijacked from polling units, assisted by some agents of security agents. Let me not even be too polite. Some security agents and all whatnot. Clips are everywhere. So if the person currently sitting on this governor was produced by such a process that was flawed, I do not expect such a person to also conduct an election that is different from what produced.
But yet again,
we have a problem with the process that produced the governor, we should also have a problem with whatever process that such a governor is going to conduct.
So let me hold you by this statement. Are you saying that now that you're in court challenging the tribunal's judgment and it does not go in your favor, you still will not accept it? Is that what you're saying?
The thing is, some things are visible enough for the blind to see, right?
Yeah.
Whatever decision that the court takes by whatever reasons that they have does not change what we saw in broad daylight. We saw people being maimed and killed. We saw materials being hijacked. Polling units. We saw policemen escorting people in various polling wards and units and collation centers. Some collation centers. I can even see some in Andon in my LGA. What happened there was a complete shock of shame, a total variation from what a political process, an electoral process should be. It was like there was a war going on instead of an election. So we saw these things firsthand. We saw them happen. So nobody's going to deceive us because they have influence to manipulate things here and there. The elections were flawed with violence and all forms of malpractices, and that cannot be changed by any court ruling.
Okay. But you also said that in certain parts the people were able to defend their vote. So yes, some of these things may trickle down to the local government elections. But don't you think that we need to somehow still participate so that we don't let these malpractices win.
Why we see people participation as the bane of political processes, right?
Yeah.
We know the what would I call it, the risk associated with certain electoral processes here in Rivers State.
Yeah.
We don't want to subject our members to unnecessary risk or expose our members to unnecessary risk.
So what if we employ technology? I mean, I said Rivers people, everybody come out with cameras, drones, computers, just to ensure, that technology is the order of the day, and we can observe. And we have pieces of evidence to ensure that, the elections are monitored not just by Rivers people, national TV. Everybody's seen it on social media. Everybody's a witness to the elections, whether you're present or not. Maybe that way we can be able not eradicate. See, I should say, in almost every country there are malpractices, but we can reduce it to the barest minimum. Is that not possible? Is that not a possibility?
While we cannot completely rule that out, we would, if we're saying that it's possible in the immediate, then we are ignoring the obvious challenges that exist, which is the challenge of poverty and or lack of access to some technology. We have over 6,800 something polling units in Rivers State, if I'm not wrong.
All right.
In each of these places, there are peculiarities. To date, some people don't even realize that there are some LGs in Rivers State where people don't walk freely, right? People don't understand that there are certain wards and polling units where you dare not speak your mind, otherwise harm will come to you.
But we need to change all of these things, right? We need to change all of these things, right?
Exactly.
So how do we change it?
When the agents of state, right, that are supposed to be acting in the interest of the people, are there backing and supporting illegality, right? We have decided that we need to uproot this problem from the roots, which is the person occupying that seat in the state is the one giving credence and back into all this illegality.
All right.
So we are still challenging the process that has produced the governor.
All right.
That has produced the governor, rather. So if we succeed in our petition, then we unseat the problem. Then at the end of the day, we should be able to institute a process that is transparent.
So you're saying without your candidates at the breakouts, then you would not be able to trust the electoral process. Is that what you're saying?
If the People's Democratic Party can overnight change its skin and start showing us that they can be transparent in electoral processes or in the process of selection of the leadership of the RISIEC, and that they have decided to change all of a sudden from what they have been doing for over 2 decades to do something different this time, that must be something compelling and convincing enough to show that this will not just be another waste of time. Because I remember the last election I held in 2021, some persons came out, other parties came out to contest. What happened?
All right.
I particularly had a friend that contested in Andoni for, I think, local government challenge. He did not even know when coalition was done. That's how funny the whole thing was.
Okay.
He did not even know when coalition was done. The winner was announced on radio.
I want to open the phone lines now, but I want to ask you one last question so we can interact with Rivers people. What can be done that would make your party and maybe Rivers people at large comfortable and feel like the elections next year at the local government level will be transparent? What can be put in place? What structures or measures can be put in place? Can you tell me?
Like what I said earlier, I think when I was interviewed for the news, I know from now it is a bit late to do some of these things.
Sorry, the network is terrible. Can you speak again so I can hear you?
Okay, so I said I know it's a bit late for some of the things that were recommended during the interview to be done.
Okay.
But we feel there should be some level of transparency and neutrality in the process that leads to the appointment of the chairman of RISEC, of the umpire conducting the elections. These things cannot be overemphasized, because when we tend to ignore these things, we forget that the burden of responsibility is on the umpire, and the umpire takes both the credit or the blame for an electoral process that is poorly conducted or conducted properly. So if there can be transparency in the process leading to the appointment of the umpire, of the chairman of the RISEC, which is the umpire of the election, such that people can actually hold them accountable for their actions and inactions, then I don't think that any level of confidence can be bestowed upon that institution.
All right then. Okay, let's listen, because time is fast spent. We've got a few more minutes. Let's take a listen to what the callers would say. If you're listening, call in right now. Let's get your thoughts. Why do you think? Okay, no, that's not the right question. Let me put it this way. How important are the local government elections to you? Yeah, that's a better way to put it. How important are the local government elections to you? Because I know a lot of you who listen would call in usually and complain about one problem or the other in your local government. And if you say the elections at the local government level are very important, what can we do to ensure that more people participate and to a very good extent, the elections are fair and credible? You can have 100% fair and credibility, but you can have, to a good level, fair and a credible election. 08179230002 and 08179230003. Please go straight to the point when I pick your calls. But let's start with this one. Do we have local government elections in... let's see. Do we have local government elections in River State? The answer is no. We only have selection by the governor. That is why we don't have any development in the local government unless the one instructed by the governor. Confidence in Lebanon from Ozuzueche. But don't you think we should change that? Daniel is calling from Transamari. Daniel, welcome. What is on your mind, please?
Yeah, Kalada, good evening.
Yeah, hi, good evening to you.
For me, local government election in Nigeria, if there's anything like election, but because of this discourse, we should call it election.
All right.
But for Daniel, it's not election, right?
Okay.
It's election. What do we call election in Nigeria is not election. So if any political party say they will not participate on it, I will support. And I don't want to believe this perception that, look, all of us have to come out to go and change the system. There is a way to tell a system we don't want. One of them is that, take example, if there are 10 political parties, 9 say we will not participate, our fans will not be there. Let one go and participate. This institution will begin to know that, look, it's not funny anymore.
You think so?
You can imagine when there's an election in Nigeria, maybe presidential election. There are 19 political parties, about 15 pull out. We will not participate.
You think so?
Our reason is because we are not independent. INEC will do this or that. The international body, there are a lot of people. Believe me, it will weaken them. So when we begin to preach, go out and vote, will you defend your vote with your hand and your voice? Didn't that election in this presidential election? All right.
Thank
you know what happened?
Thank you very much, Daniel. There's another Daniel calling from Imogate. Daniel, welcome. Straight to the point, please. What is on your mind?
Good evening, Canada.
Yeah, good evening, Daniel.
Daniel from Imogate as well.
All right, welcome.
Yes, my brother Canada. It is very important. I am talking about local government election because it is to the grassroots. Yes, even like you say, Port Harcourt City, even though you call it city, but you still call it, they are under local government as well.
Yeah.
So it's very important. But the issue is that when the people's will are subverted, they have no confidence, they will not go, and then their votes will count. Just like the guest said, then how do you expect the people to go? All you will hear now is whatever that happens, go to court. And you go to court, they tell you there's no evidence. Even when a town crier will say, don't come out to vote if you are not in it. Stuff like that. this is the reason why people don't have confidence. We don't go and waste their time just for nothing. They just selectocracy.
All right then. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. One last call. Ilumba from Altilari. Welcome.
I greet you, my brother.
I greet you right back. Welcome.
That is the one that they did last. It's the only time I've used my leg, waka, go pre in it to go vote for local government. My brother, what I see that day, I see the laugh. There are, let me explain this for you, make you understand. There are two Abulo boys that are there with those rich people. Those wicked people will tear book, give those apples. Abulo will go and put it and be stuffing it for my own front. I saw with my eye. I didn't say somebody told me. They were stuffing the ballot box with only 5 people there.
All right.
The other two Abulo boys.
All right.
Where they stuff the ballot box for my own front. They didn't give me that box I saw. Honestly speaking, I saw with my eye.
All right, thank you very much, Ilumba. That's the much I can take as pertain calls. We'll continue the conversation, the open season. But let's look at this message. It said, Mr. Kalada, it is very interesting that the call by proponents of electronic voting and e-transmission of votes seems to always direct their calls towards national elections. What stops the State House of Assembly, in fact, the Rivers State House of Assembly, from amending the local government electoral law to enable e-voting and e-transmission? Wouldn't it be better for us to test run the e-election in the state LGA and perfect it before we take it to the national? Text Oibo. And this one says, hello, Mr. Canada and Mr. Wellington, please ask your guest if his statement and sentiment concerning the LGA polls are a Labour Party national policy. If so, he's saying that Abia State next LGA election would be a model for the 36 states to emulate. Michael Okrika. All right. Unfortunately, the network has cut my guess off, and it's time for another commercial break. So maybe I'll ask him when I go for a break. This says, man of the people, greetings. Local government election in Nigeria is turned to Agatu Boy settlement. The worst of it is some of these LGA chairmen don't know what they are there for because they are not prepared. The grassroots people are not smiling at all. Okay, it's time for a commercial break. Thank God ability to read more of your message when I come back.
The show continues after this break on Nigeria Info.